Michael B. Jordan, period.com, that's the whole sentence. Okay, Michael B. Jordan's longtime co-star Tessa Thompson, she just recently admitted on the Sherry Show that there's one thing that Michael does that sends her totally spinning out. Should you ever FaceTime somebody without warning them first?
Hi. Oh, you got some. Oh my God.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So, you know how the way this works, right? Though you don't have to answer the FaceTime, right? If you don't want to. I love this. I have two friends in particular who always do this. They've both been on this show. One is Etalk's Tyrone Edwards, and Jan Arden is the other one. And I think in both cases, it's people who, I think they do this with all of their close friends.
Yeah.
And I think that it's just that we don't get to spend a lot of FaceTime together, so why not? And a lot of times I will pick up. I don't care what I look like in front of them, as long as I'm not indecent. It's like, hey, let's have a face-to-face chat. What is wrong with you people?
Well, I just assume there's an emergency if someone FaceTime me without that courtesy text. You know, I like the courtesy text. Hey, you up for a FaceTime? I sure am. Just give me 5 minutes, pour myself a little cup of coffee, a tea, maybe put a brush through the hair. I just like the heads up.
All right, all right.
You know what I mean?
FaceTiming is the digital dropping by without calling somebody. You understand? Like, you just go by someone's house. And the reason why I think we're all kind of like, no thank you, is because, like, let me put my eyebrows on and get a bra on before you just, like, pop up. Right? But I do think, like, if it's family and family and friends, no problem. But if it's early dating days, like, there was a guy that I was dating who would FaceTime me, and I was like, oh Lord. But I answered, and then he's like, oh, I just want to see what you look like without all your hair and makeup. And I was like, still cute, still cute, still cute. You tried it. So it depends on who's doing it.
My response would have been like, you need to earn that.
Yeah,
What do you think you are? You know what? I was so surprised to hear this story because I was like, I thought like we still aren't even calling people.
Yeah.
So now the unannounced FaceTime? Are you a monster?
Yeah.
Are you a monster? There are certain rules that I think it can apply to. So recently, Erica Work, we know, the lovely stylist, she just celebrated a milestone birthday. I actually did this to her because I think for a close friend, something very special, it absolutely warrants it. But if you're like, you know, you have your inner circle. If there's anybody in like the second or third or fourth ring,
no.
don't you FaceTime me. Don't you do that.
I look forward to my mom and her best friend. They must FaceTime each other 3-4 times a day. Wow. And I look forward to getting to that sort of stage in my life because sometimes neither of them remembers who started the call. Oh. Like, sorry, Mom. It's just the funniest thing I've ever seen. I look forward to that level of comfort. And they're like, you called me. No, you called me. Well, I don't have anything to say. Okay, bye.
I love it.
All right, so let's go on to our next story. Martin Short confessed on Jimmy Kimmel Live that he almost accidentally ruined Selena Gomez's wedding cake. So the question is, what is the biggest faux pas that you've ever seen at a wedding? This is gonna get juicy.
All right, listen, I have to say this. I was not at the wedding, but a lot of people that I know were at this wedding. Here's the faux pas, okay? The wedding happens, now everybody's at the reception, everything's going great, and then somebody comes running from the bathroom to say they just caught the best man.
And the bride?
No, the best man.
I know, we're like, who?
The best man and a very high-profile Canadian celebrity having sex in the bathroom.
Just tell us. Just tell us.
Can't tell you who it is or I'd have to kill you.
It's almost worth it. It's almost worth it.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Listen, I've been to a lot of weddings. I've seen a lot of faux pas, but there was one that I actually saw. I don't know if it's a faux pas, but I will never forget it. So I went to the wedding, and this couple was moving out of the country. So on the invitation, it said monetary gifts only because, of course, they can't take toasters. So I'm like, no problem. So we all put our money in the box. And then later on at the reception in the evening time, I'm looking for the bathroom in this golf club, wherever we are. And I walk into the wrong room, and I see that the groom has the box of money, and he has all the envelopes, and he's putting them in his jacket pocket. Wait. I'm thinking, this is his wedding, so I'm not thinking anything of it until I find out that the bride never saw a penny of that money. And the rumor is he used that money to pay off his credit card bill. And she never saw a penny.
Gosh.
Yeah, so I was like, wow, okay, there's a faux pas. Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
They're
ladies.
divorced. They're divorced.
Okay.
They're divorced.
Well,
The biggest faux pas I ever saw at a wedding was my own face. Listen, I was a bridesmaid. I was about 22. It was the first time I ever had like professional hair and makeup done from someone who had just I think, graduated beauty school, and I came out looking like not a bridesmaid, but more like the grandmother to the bride.
Oh.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I know I'm white, but I came out white. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, wow.
Like sort of like Marie Antoinette era.
Yeah.
Okay, that's amazing.
She was a mime.
That's a mime.
She was a mime.
Great.
She was
great.
good
Oh
one.
my
She
God.
was miming that whole wedding.
Okay. So jump in, or are we going to go to break?
No, go to break.
Break.
Best-selling author and podcaster Jay Shetty is moving from interviewing experts to acting as one in a new podcast called Messy Love. Jay Shetty is going to coach 3 couples facing relationship challenges. So now he's not a licensed therapist or psychologist, but he is wildly popular with over 18 million followers on Instagram. So what do you guys think? Is this helpful of Jay, or is this maybe problematic?
Oh, yeah. Listen, Jay Shetty has been here on this show. He's been a guest of the show. I do actually listen to his podcast. So what I'm going to say, I hope we all understand here. This is not about Jay himself. He's a great interviewer, and he's done some really cool things in life. Does popularity and the popularity of his podcast automatically make him an expert? No. So this is the problem with podcasting in general. And I say this because I have a podcast.
Yeah.
And I often say I interview experts, but I am not the expert.
Yeah.
But I think people
you're a bit
start
of an
to...
expert, I will say.
Yeah, but I would
We'll
never...
follow that.
I would never say that. Yeah. That's, you know... Cute. Not just her bangs that are cute today, guys. But anyway. But I think my bottom line here is we have to be careful as listeners that if you are really into these, and there's big names out there, Mel Robbins, Jay Shetty, even Joe Rogan, because they're popular, it does not make them an expert. So that popularity does not replace credentials.
I totally agree with you. However, you know, there are 2 people that come to mind who have immense credentials. They are Dr. Oz and Dr. Phil. And I would rather take advice from a box of nails than either one of those people. But anyway.
That is a good
Excellent point.
I mean, I think the thing is you're not wrong. We do want to be hesitant around people who actually don't have any research. I think, though, that this gets into an interesting landscape, and I noticed it the most when I went to the University of Michigan through the School of Social Work to become a sex educator and get a certificate. I went there because I wanted credentials.
Yeah.
I wanted cred. Even though I knew a lot at that point in time from being a producer and doing a researcher and interviewing and all the things. And when I got there, I was surrounded by doctors and therapists and educators, and in many cases, I knew way more than them.
Really?
And in fact, in one particular lesson, again, this is in Michigan, the States, they actually aired one of the pieces from the documentary series that I was a producer on as a teaching piece. And so I say all of that insofar as, like, technically I don't have credentials to do something like what Jay Shetty's doing, although I think that I could do that. We get advice from all kinds of people who don't have technical credentials.
What you are is a journalist.
Yeah.
So there is a credential there. So I do want to say that. Yeah.
You just blew my mind with the Dr. Oz and like that credential thing. But I also feel I totally understand what you're saying. But these people, if they want to get advice from Jay Shetty in between mattress ads on a podcast, go forth, my friend. Do you know what I mean? Like they're the ones signing up for it. There are so many other things that people look to, like astrology, crystals, magnets, that none of which are based in science. People look to those for sort of self-care and help.
I know, but wait a
You're
second.
automatically putting Jay Shetty in the same, like, I don't know what it'll be like, but like, I think about someone like Dan Savage or Shan Boodram or Matthew Hussey.
I guess because he doesn't have any clinical experience. Like someone like Dr. Orna. You guys watch Couples Therapy, that show,
She's
Dr.
really
Orna?
good.
This woman is a clinical psychologist and psychoanalyst, and essentially Jay Shetty is making a podcast version of what she does. And I think that she recognizes, and her greatest fear is that I could do more harm than good. And she does everything, like it is in her code of conduct, the Hippocratic Oath, she simply can't do that. Where I wonder with someone like Jay who doesn't have that clinical approach, there is a possibility. It's a slippery slope, right? But people are doing it of their own volition.
Yeah, because the podcast world is a wild, wild west. Anybody
It's a
can
wild,
just
wild west.
get
There's no
a
sheriff.
microphone, set up
Yeah.
your camera, and put it on YouTube, and now all of a sudden you're a podcaster. And we're seeing some podcasters who don't have any credentials, who have a bigger following than any network host that you know out there. So it is a very interesting world. What I think is interesting about the people who want to be a part of that is if I sat on this show and dolled out parenting advice, all of you wouldn't hesitate to be like, girl, sit down. You don't have children. You don't know what you're talking about. But for some reason, if I'm a green-eyed, soft-spoken former monk and I want to tell you what to do with your marriage, even though I've only been married for, 9 years, everybody wants to listen to that advice.
But you know what? But wait a minute. You know who gives a lot of advice in the marital realm? Priests.
I don't believe in that either. I'm glad you brought that up.
These bags.
You know what? This was a light show up until now.
I know, but I'm glad you brought that up because I had this discussion with my mother. I'm like, how can a Catholic priest who's never allowed to marry, have children, be the one telling you how to fix your marriage? I wouldn't go to them either. But I think it's all problematic. But I think if you've been married for 18 years, don't you want to talk to someone who has a practice and has helped other people work on their marriage and someone who's licensed, not just some nice guy with a popular podcast?
It's that, but it's also something you said. It's not only having experience, but the reason why we have to understand and respect science and credentials and medicine is because that keeps the charlatans out, even though some charlatans get through. But the point is, if there is harm done, you actually can go to a body and complain and get this person's license revoked. If Shetty does any harm to these people, where do they go?
Nowhere.
There's no one to say,
Nowhere.
I'm taking away your license. Oh, you don't have one.
It's a wild, that's an excellent point. It's the Wild West, not only of podcasts, but the Wild West in wellness as well. You know what I mean? It's anything's game. There are no rules.
As long as
and
it's
that's a
packaged
frightening
really
time.
nicely.
Yeah.
I think we all have to remember podcasting has a lot of good that it does, but at the end of the day, it is entertainment. So I think he's getting very wealthy, but is he actually helping? So that's where listener beware.
How much free time does this man have, dude? Do you know what I mean? Do you guys think about that?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
How much free time? He doesn't have children.
Thank you.
Well, wait, either do I.
Anyway, lots to think about. That was great discussion, ladies.
No, it's true.